Hello.
Hey,
Hey, what's up, brother? How you doing, man?
I like your setup.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
You must do YouTube.
I just started doing YouTube actually, so I do clip some of these things with consent, obviously, and then put them on YouTube. It's kind of like a little project I'm doing, but
Can I be on YouTube?
it can depends on if you want to participate. So I can give you my
Yeah.
spiel if you'd like, and if you don't like it, we go separate ways. No big deal.
Oops, sorry.
No, you're good.
Bad cameraing. All right, I'll definitely be on YouTube. Let's do it.
Okay. So what this is called What's the Worst Pod, and all it is a judgment-free conversation where you let me know what's the worst going on with you, big or small. I hold space and listen, or can share some perspective, make you feel heard and understood in the conversation.
Okay. All right. God's speaking to me right now. All right. So, all right. Let's do it.
Okay, so let me know, what is the worst?
Well, the worst is that my pay right now for my job is bare minimum. Um, oh God, there's a list of things. I just bought a new car. It's going to shit.
I hear that.
In December, I just my car was breaking down. I had a Range Rover, and it was just falling apart, and it was the upkeep for it was just way too much money, and I sold it to somebody that knew how to fix them, then put that money into a loan car, so I financed. Then I got this car in December, and it's already got a check engine light. It was losing coolant at first. Now it needs a whole new engine.
Oh, wow.
And we're in February. Well, we're almost in March. We'll say we're in March, but it's only been 3 months since I've had the car.
I gotcha. Well, I'm sorry to hear that you're going through all that. And it's wild that you got a couple of lemons back to back, like, I mean, what are the odds, So I'm really sorry to deal with that. The other thing too is, like, I don't really have a lot of like help that I could do with that particular situation, but if you want to sit here and just kind of vent about it because you have, everyone's tired of hearing about it, I would love to hear the whole story about how it all unraveled and how you went down it, if that makes you feel lighter and better at the end of the conversation. But let me know.
I mean, you know what? I don't know if it's going to make me feel lighter and better, but I will say that, I feel like I've lived many lives. I feel like I've went through a lot of things. So I feel like I feel like, I usually take what I'm going through and I'll use it for other people who are going through something and may not be able to handle it as best as some other people can. You know what I mean?
100%.
And my thing is, you just got to keep going. You literally just got to keep going. You cannot let anything hold you back. You can't let things define you. You can't let things make you feel less than. You know what I mean? I've been up here and I've been down here. So I know both ways,
Yeah, no, 100%. And I can tell by your demeanor and everything like that. Like, when we first came in here, I would never thought you were dealing with all these car issues and pay problems and all these things like that. So, like, your attitude and demeanor is something to definitely uphold in everybody, every day, So it's amazing the way that you have such a positive outlook on everything.
I have a question for you.
Yeah, 100%.
You definitely collect those stuffies in the back of you.
Yeah, a little bit. I don't really collect them too much. Actually, to be honest with you, a lot of these are my sister-in-laws. So I had like a vacant void space here for quite some time, and I thought, like, it doesn't really give you that kind of inviting, kind of cozy vibe. So started filling some of my own personal ones, and then it kind of grew from there.
Yeah, it looks really good. You know what? It looks very professional. If you were to step in here, I would have already thought you were a grown professional streamer. No lie.
Well, thank you so much. That's kind of the whole thing I was trying to do, is trying to make it professional to where I can hopefully grow it to something a little bit more serious.
Really cool. Okay, so what else? What else can you ask me to keep the conversation going?
Anything. The one thing I was going to ask you too is, like, since you do have this positive outlook, and you talk about you were up here on the, as far as like being good up on your height of like being great and everything's good and perfect in life, and then at some point in time you're on the bottom part of it. So, like, what were those things that you kind of went through that were the bottom, that now these car issues are like, it is what it is, it'll get better, that kind of perspective, just so you could share for my audience, your audience, so that way they can be like, oh, I can see why he thinks like that now.
That's a good question. I'll start from where I first started, was where I went through a massive breakup. Was with my daughter's mother, and we were together for 10 years. That just really broke me that excuse me. It just really broke me that when we had our kid, we broke up and my daughter was young. So, that was a struggle. And I also lost the apartment that we were in, my storage unit that I had all my stuff in, because the job that I was working was far away,
Mhm.
and I had car issues again. I swear to God, the car issues thing is always haunting me. It's like
I'm
a
sorry to
thing
laugh.
that just no, no, laugh, trust me, because it literally is typical. It's funny, but um yeah, my car ended up breaking down and I couldn't get to the job. And like Uber wasn't around at the time. This, like, we're talking back like 2015, 16. It wasn't yet created where you could just, you know,
Mhm.
put in an Uber and you're good. Even if I could, it would have been so expensive. But yeah, so yeah, I had car issues. I didn't have a way to get to work. So I ended up losing that job. I had to move out of the house that I was in because it was like super haunted. Me and my daughter's mother ended up just like having issues, like, because of everything I think that was going on, and also because of the house that we were in was so haunted that I think it was affecting us as well.
Mhm.
So that's where it started, you know. Then I moved back to my mom's because I kind of had no choice at the time. I had to restart, and I was a single parent restarting, and I did, you know. Some days I didn't get out of bed for days.
Mhm.
Some days I did and was like, okay, I'm going to fix this. I ended up eventually fixing it. I ended up doing my own business where I would talk to people and talk about things that they would go through. I'm also psychic as well. So I started to read people and help them. I combined the two. I combined
Mhm.
therapy with psychic, and it worked. You know, for the people that didn't want to come out and talk about their issues, I was able to just pick it up. So
Mhm.
I ended up having my own regular client base and help them work through whatever they needed to get through. And I was doing really, really well and was doing a really good job at what I do. So that's how I came up. I started to get my car back. I started to just have money to do things, have money to just extra money, you know, that I
Mhm.
didn't have before. And it felt like I was finally back where I should be, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. And that, thank you for sharing that story. Very vulnerable and sharing that story, man. And like I do have even more questions. That's the paradox of this is that as you unravel, I get more questions in my curiosity in my head. So like when you talk about the psychic business stuff like that, and again, no judgment here. Some people may believe in it, some people don't. I'm open-minded enough that I would like to know more about like how did you know that you had these intuitions for psychic abilities, and then how did you
Okay.
then learn that you could apply them to a business type model?
Um, well, okay. That's a good question. I don't even know where to start with this one. It started when I was It started when I was probably born, but I started to notice it when I was like 3 years old. We lived in an apartment, and it was like a what? It was like a two-bedroom, I think. I was so young, I kind of don't remember, but I do. It was a two-bedroom, and I shared it with my sister at the time, and we ended up getting this gift of like this Donald Duck picture, and it came from a yard sale. I remember that. And I was adamant not to hang it up. Like, I was freaked out by the picture. I didn't want it hung
Huh.
up. Sure enough, my father was like yelling at me because I was like, they just thought I was kind of being like a bratty kid who didn't want the
Right.
picture because I didn't like it. They ended up hanging the picture up, and sure enough, we went to bed that night, and the picture just started to come to life, and it just started unfolding in front of me, and it just like kind of turned evil and was like swearing at me and stuff. And I freaked
Yeah, I
out,
bet.
screamed at the top of my lungs. You know, I was a 3 year old little boy. So my mom came in. I literally told her what the picture said to me, which it said the F word. I'm not going to say the full.
That's fine.
And you know, she was blown away. She just looked at me with a blank stare at first, like, what? So that was like my first sign of, like, you know, I could kind of pick up on things and if there was things attached to things, I think.
Mhm.
Then as I got a little bit older, we moved into my grandfather's house that he gave to us because it was big enough to where he didn't need it no more, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he ended up giving it to my mom because she had the two kids and, you know, she needed it the most.
Mhm.
And this house is old. It was built in like 1895. So,
Okay. Has some history behind it. Yeah.
and you know, my mom grew up in it, and it was like a house from generation to generation. So when we moved there, you know, things just kind of it intensified. I started to use the bathroom. I would say I was like 7, 8, 9 years old. This would occur, and I kept everything to myself at this age because I was scared to tell anybody. I didn't know if they would react to think I was crazy.
Right. Understandable.
Literally, that's what went on in my mind. You know, I was like, you know, if I say this, they're gonna not believe me because nobody talks about this stuff, you know?
100%.
I'd go to the bathroom, and every time I'd go up the stairs, the bathroom was on your right side to the left of the stairs, which goes up. So if you look back, you could see the hallway to the bathroom.
Hmm.
So when I'd go up those stairs, every time I'd look back, there would be this figure, a white figure, and it'd fly across the hallway. And at the end of the railing to the stairs, it would just disappear. And it was every night for 3 years that this happened to me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and a lot of other stuff happened too. But one night I just I thought I could go to my sister, who's older. She's 4 years older than me, and she just called me a weirdo. Kind of tried to kick me out of the room. She's like, "What are you even talking about?" And I was, that just that was a big letdown. But my mom actually, ended up coming out, and she was like, she believed me. She full on believed me. She asked me like who I thought it was, and my grandmother had passed when I was little, and I was telling her this is who I thought it was, and the image that I got in my mind,
Hmm.
and described her, which I never seen pictures of my grandmother, never knew what she looked like. I was so young when she passed that I was so little, they never really showed it.
Hmm.
So when I described it, my mom kind of was a little freaked out.
Oh, for sure. But the fact that she would take the time to just try to understand you and make you not feel like you're going crazy, essentially, or whatever. I mean, that's awesome that you had that support.
Yeah, thank God I did because I don't know where it would have been directed, I guess.
Right.
Um but my defense was before that was to keep it to myself because I didn't know what the reaction was going to be or what would happen. And I feel like I'm not the only one who goes through that. I feel like there's other people like me.
Hmm. Like mediums, basically.
I don't even know. It's weird. Like I don't even like to call like what I have like psychic or like medium. I just
Hmm.
feel like that is such a general word because you could develop those things too.
Yeah, like a higher
And
sense
this
of
is
frequencies or whatever it is, or vibrations, that kind of thing, like that, auras and all that kind of stuff that you're talking about, right?
Yeah, and I feel like that's like a mental development,
Hmm.
like where like people use tools and stuff, where like this is just something that naturally occurred, where it was just born with me, you know what I mean? My
Yeah.
brain just automatically was in the state of openness or something,
Hmm.
which is weird. I don't know. But yeah, that's where it started. I would see spirits all the time. All the time. I would get dreams. I would see things before it would happen, and it would play out right in front of me all the time.
And that's where
You
you get that
know,
like deja vu kind of thing or whatever, right?
yeah, pretty much.
Gotcha, gotcha.
And then, into my teenage years, I would just ignore it because like I would kind of just want to be a regular teenager, but I could never turn it off. So like I see some people where they say, "Oh, you just turn it off and put it back on." And I'm like,
It doesn't work like that.
no, it don't. Like you can turn it off in a sense of you can ignore it and just
Yeah.
choose not to be like tell people like what's gonna happen
Hmm.
or what you see. But yeah, that's about it.
Okay, well, awesome. Thank you again for sharing. The thing is, like, I noticed that you talk about how like you kept it hidden for a long time, and then all of a sudden you have a business out of it, so you're now embracing it. It sounds like. So when was that switch to like embracing? Because you had to also even do like a trial, I'm assuming, with strangers eventually or friends that you could trust, and then you're like, okay, now I've honed these skills. Now I can make it to a business type of thing. Unless I'm wrong, but
No, no, you're correct. Well, what happened was when my daughter's mother was pregnant, everything just started to hit me like a 360. And I almost felt like I was going crazy. I started just predicting things. Like I was starting to get like I was starting to get a lot of visions, and
Mhm.
the visions that I was getting would just start happening right in front of me. So, eventually I'm like, okay, what's going on? Like this feels familiar, but I don't know why it feels familiar, you know what I mean? It was like I'd been ignoring it so long that I got so used to ignoring it that like this whole 360 when my daughter's mother got pregnant brought it right back out 10 times stronger again.
Mm.
And it was like it almost felt new for me. So what started happening was I started to tell my daughter's mother, and she's like, "It's just because you're becoming a new parent." Started telling my mom same thing, you
Mhm.
know. So I'm like, "No," I'm like, "You guys don't understand." I'm like, "I feel like I'm seeing things and it's happening in front of me,"
Yeah.
and I'm like, "It's not. It's like a lot of stuff." So
can I cut you off
you
for 1
know.
second to ask a question, just so I have a better context of how this process works?
Mhm.
So in my mind, the way I'm envisioning this, if this was to occur to me spontaneously, is it kind of like you are in the moment and your people around you and you like disassociate is kind of what their perspective is, like you're looking off into nothingness, almost like a 10,000 yard stare? Or is it more like in your mind it's like a that's so Raven kind of thing where you like freeze and your mind goes into like this like vision thing and you come back? Is that it?
Yeah, exactly. And it's so funny because my daughter refers to me like that because she says I do that stare when I do have something come to me.
Uh-huh.
And it's so funny because I don't even talk about I don't talk about it either. My daughter just I guess knows just from knowing me, and she says you get that look like that's so Raven, and she asked me the same thing. She goes, is that how you get yours? And I'm like, yeah, very similar actually. Like that's the best way to describe it. Like it comes to me, it looks like a movie clip or a memory. You know how you look at a memory and it looks like a movie in your mind?
100%.
That's how I see something that's gonna happen.
I actually, a lot of that you're describing, I've had some similar experiences. That's why I kind of reference what you're talking about. But again, same thing. I don't usually disclose these kind of thing of being like a heightened sense of awareness and that kind of thing. But
Right.
I have those deja vu moments where I'd be like, I had a dream about something, and I used to keep a dream journal for these things. And then I would be like, hey, coworker, this guy's about to come in 2 seconds. He's gonna have an apple. He's gonna say, "What's up, guys?" and throw the apple away. Watch, and it happens. They're like, "How did you know that?" I'm like, "Well, you would never believe me, but I had a dream about this, and it's a whole thing." But I'm glad I got to share my experience with somebody that can kind of resonate or understand kind of like this thing that we deal with sometimes. And mine's
Right,
very, very rare. I
exactly.
don't have like a heightened sense like you're talking about, but again, it's something I just would notice randomly, and I never really embraced it or would go looking down the rabbit hole of like, what is this? I'm gonna go talk to people and that kind of thing. So hopefully that makes sense.
Well, I mean, if you're on the tip of the iceberg of what you just described, then you definitely have it. You just got to be more in tune to it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like you're kind of just like hitting the surface of things where you're not doing a deep dive yet.
Hmm.
So, I don't know how to describe that because I can say like doing a deep dive is like reading books and yeah, I'm very close from Jersey, so you're correct. Sorry, somebody in my chat, but doing a deep dive doesn't mean like all the information that's out there. It's a deep dive within
A
yourself to
hundred
like
percent.
connect with what you got. You know what I mean?
Right. Meditation, self-awareness, things of that nature. I completely understand.
Yeah, correct. And what I did was I went outward and got books, crystals, cards, and this lady, I remember she was a reader in one of like the spiritual stores that I went to. It told me, she's like, you don't need none of this stuff. She's like, you're gonna buy all of this stuff. And she's like, guess what? You're not even gonna need it. She's like, you don't know how gifted you are. And she freaked me out.
Oh,
She
really?
ended up passing away. Went back to the store to go tell her she was right, and they had this big poster of her in there, and she passed away from cancer. And I never got to tell her that you were so right. I should have listened to you, and it was so sad.
Well, at least she knew. She probably just knew that, like, hey, this is my moment to kind of give you guidance that you're on the right track, and like that's all it was. That one little moment in time. That's such a cool experience.
It was crazy. I was like, wow. I was like, she was real. Like she was real.
Yeah. So, and again, I'm gonna go a little bit deeper here, or maybe perhaps or not. But like, how do you deal with people on the outside, that do view it as like, oh, that's a crock or whatever? Like, what do you do with the negative stigmas towards that way of life that you experience every day?
Well, beforehand, I never really got a lot of negativity because when I did, I would just read them right down. I'd be like, all right, you don't believe me? I'm going to prove to you. I'm going to prove to you right now. Like, I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to argue with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, hundred
So
percent.
I'd start telling them things. They'd either deny it and they'd be like, you'd see it in their face. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the
Like,
eyeballs
okay,
get
this,
kind of wide, and they're like, okay, he's definitely picking on some stuff that I've never disclosed to him or whatever, right?
right. And, they'd still deny it. Like, well.
I got you.
And I'd be like, all right, are we done here? Like I'm not gonna sit there and I'm not gonna argue with you. Like I am who I am. You either believe it or you don't. So to me, never phased me because it's like, how do you know like what life really is, and how we really operate? You're going by what people tell you from generations, but everything can change. You know what I mean? I never
100%.
asked to have what I had. It is just who I was. I
Hmm.
never picked up these tools to go and enhance it. I didn't even know about them when I first like opened this back up. I got led down that way because my mom knew her friend was a psychic and she would do readings, but I never knew there was like all these tools and crystals. I had no idea. Like I was dumbfounded by it.
Mhm.
And she's the one who kind of showed me all that stuff. And I was like, okay, this is me, because I thought that's what it was. So that's what made me go and buy all this stuff. And
Yeah, 'cause
I
you're trying
never
to
felt,
understand yourself more. That makes perfect sense.
yeah. And when I tell you I went to buy everything, I spent like 6 grand in like all this like tarot cards and oracle cards and crystals. And when I would use them, I always felt off, like, something ain't right. Something ain't right. And I just had this epiphany of like, this stuff is an open gate to all things possible.
Exactly. I was about to ask you the next question. Like, what do you worry about? Like, 'cause you said when you have the open mindedness, you open up. Maybe you open up to something that is a negative sense than necessarily like a positive type of thing. How do you navigate dealing with that?
Um, I believe that, if you have it naturally, God is with you.
Mm,
God is with you and God shows you what God wants to show you, and that's your protection. So when I think I was also led down the path that I was led to buy all the stuff that I did to show me what was right and what was wrong,
mm,
because the epiphany turned that right away from those things. Haven't used them since.
mm.
And I knew, I was like, okay, this is an open gate. Like, this is why people get things attached to them that go into this stuff, because they're getting the answers they want, but they're not always getting it from a source that's from up here,
Hmm.
you know?
I gotcha. So, if you don't mind, again, you don't. I wouldn't recommend you disclose any names of any of your clients or like that. Can you give me kind of like an experience of what a session with your business would have been like if I was just like, hey, I want to use your services, just so that way, and my audience or anybody on YouTube or whatever will kind of know like what to expect. Because that's the thing too. Just to change the subject a little bit. Like, imagine the stigma with therapy nowadays. People are like, oh, therapy's a crack, blah blah blah. Like, and that there's such a negative connotation for a lot of people. And whenever you like talk to them just like this and it's open and they feel good, it's like that's basically what therapy is. Like, oh well, hell, like that's what it was, I would have been doing it already. So
Right.
maybe the psychic services you provide or other people in this world provide too, and they have like an idea of what it would be like, maybe more open-minded in the future. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Well, it goes down from a bunch of categories. When I tell you I've probably done the most craziest things, I've done cases of people that been missing from the 70s.
Oh wow.
And this one case that I did was crazy to me. This I was young, I was still new of like coming to everything, to figuring everything out, but
Mhm.
good enough to help the lady. And she's like they've been looking into this case since the 70s. She got taken in a car, and I told her to pause right there. I was like, pause. I was like, because I'm already getting tons of stuff.
Mhm.
I told her the car, and I think I freaked her out. That freaked her out.
Mhm.
The car was exactly the car that she remembers from when her sister was taken.
Yeah.
And I told her where she was taking, and I told her it was the trunk of the car, and she ended up telling me that that's what they thought, the investigators. That they had no lead from there, no trail to where they took her from the spot that she was taken.
Mhm.
And I ended up telling her like there was like a river where the car was still there to this day. I told her,
Oh wow.
I said this car is next to a park. It has a river, and the car is down in the river. They ended up, like, I guess, getting a lead from me, and she ended up messaging me like months later, telling me that they did find the car. It was in the river. They wanted me to be on the news because of me, that they finally found a lead from since like the 70s, and I was like freaked out. I
Wow.
thought I was gonna like go to jail or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait a minute, I wasn't even born in the 70s, but like still it freaked me out. I don't
For
know
sure.
why.
It's too surreal. It's too like real at that point. I think maybe that's the shock. But
That's just
wow.
like one of the categories, like um relationships. Had a ton of those.
Oh, I bet.
I've worked with people that are in the NFL to help them with like their plays, and what might happen, what they need to do to help better like prepare.
Mhm.
So I can't disclose any NFL names that I've worked with,
Of course. I don't
but
expect you to.
had readings with those type of people. I've had other celebrities too I've read with, and let me tell you, I've read with lawyers, doctors, I even had therapists come to me. Crazy as it sounds, I've had people that work down in the lower government come to me, and those were the scariest ones. So it ranges all around. It has no filter for me. I'm able to pretty much pick up on anything you throw at me, which is weird.
Okay, I got two other good questions. If you have the time, again, I don't mean to keep you this whole time either, but
No, it's totally cool.
awesome. So the other question I had would be like, what is the process of like these interactions? Is it as simple as just holding hands, or is it like you have to actually bring out cards, or like, or is it just like they tell you the small details and then it clicks? Or and then also side note, um, when you're out in the public around people, I'm assuming you can sense vibes and stuff like that. So people like if you like, oh, this person's about to die or something like that, kind of thing. If that's not your
I
capabilities.
kind of asked for that. It's funny you say that, but I used to be able to do that, but I asked for it to kind of just stop. I don't know. I kind of like prayed on that to stop because I don't like knowing when somebody's gonna die. It creeps me out.
Understandable.
I used to be able to sense it. I still kind of can, but like it doesn't phase me more as much as because like I don't get like a bunch of details on top of it because I just don't want to know. It's like that's not for me.
Right, because other thing too, I've heard from other psychics I've talked to before and stuff like that, is they're like, sometimes it's not your place to go and tell them these information. It's more their journey. They're supposed to figure this out in their process. Then it's you stepping in that moment. Does that make sense?
I've had somebody come to me for a reading, and this was in person, and they were waiting on for their mother to pass. They were gonna get like an inheritance or whatever from her, and also like it was just like tough for her to take care of, and oh, let me tell you, just not my thing.
I gotcha. Okay. And so then the other thing too would be that what I asked the first time was like the whole process. Is it just as simple as like you talk on the phone, or do you have to see eye to
Oh,
eye, or like
it doesn't matter for me. Like I don't have to hold your hand. I don't need an object. I don't need anything. Like I'll sit here. It could be over the phone. It could be over. I could be over text.
oh
It
wow.
does not matter. Like you have if you have something like I mean over text it might be a little different, but if you have something really strong going on, it's gonna come to me like this.
Hmm.
I'm gonna feel it. I'm gonna feel the energy.
Very neat. Wow, we've really gone quite a weird conversation from like car troubles to now psychic stuff. So, but again, thank you
Yeah,
so
right.
much for the whole conversation. Everything that like uh
Thank you.
I feel more informed. And again, if you give me permission and consent to clip this, I can definitely put it online on YouTube and you'll be
I
on
give you
there.
full
And
consent.
then more people will also have perspective on kind of this experience.
Exactly. I think it's good to have more knowledge of these things because a lot of people will go through this and be like, "What the hell is going on?"
Yeah.
Because I know from the beginning I was like, "This is confusing," but like also I remembered a lot of things from when I was a kid. It started to kind of hit me and come back to me a lot of memories, and that helped too to like be like, "Okay, this isn't new as like as it feels. It just feels different because I'm older now."
Right, for sure.
When you're a kid, your imagination is a lot more open. So like you kind of just wonder like, am I imagining things even though I see that it's happening in front of me?
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
100%. 100%. And
So
that's the
when
thing
you're
too, is I think
older,
you have like you have less space of your brain of like processing all these memories and things of experiences and also like that. So you have more in tuneness to what's going on. 100%.
yeah, exactly. And when you're older, you're like, okay, this just happened in front of me and I seen it. And your imagination is not like a kid anymore. So you're like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah. And even if you acknowledge it, you're like, oh, that's weird. And then you go back to just, I got to pay bills or something. And it just goes away. Right.
Not even. I couldn't even like when it opened up, it was like I was so distracted by it was like continuously. It would not go away.
Gotcha.
It was like
I meant more for the average person. My bad. Not for you specific. I just meant for the average
oh,
person
I'm
that
sorry,
has
I'm
like an
sorry.
occurrence. They're just
I
like,
I did still have to pay bills, don't get me wrong.
gotcha.
But
Very
yeah,
cool.
it's definitely I feel like everybody has it. I feel like I really do. I generally feel like everybody has it. There's just a degree of, where your soul's at and where it is spiritually,
Mhm.
you know, and who can handle it spiritually too.
Oh, 100%. With great power comes great responsibility, as they say.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I thank you for having me on here. I appreciate it, and I do give you full consent to clip it.
Awesome.
I think that's awesome. And if you want to shoot me a message and let me know when it's up, I want to go and rewatch it.